have an update on all what we've been talking about tonight, and I'm going to get you that here in just a minute. So let's get cranked up this hour with our friends at Douglas Cooling and Heating, man, with this sure enough cold weather coming in. You don't want to be cold, and Douglas is taking care of me. I was thinking all my homes, even here in the home studio that you can see if you're watching us on the YouTube channel. I would pan the camera around over there and show you the little unit, but I got them to help me with a mini split system, and that's really perfect for additional space. That thing is whisper quiet. In fact, I've done this before live on the radio. It's probably 8 feet from me up on the wall. I'm going to be quiet for a second. You can't hear it. It's running full tilt boogie right now, trying to keep this room warm, and it does a good job for me. These things are good for additional basement space, add-ons. If you're building out an attic or garage, in my case, this detached facility here on my property. Y'all look into those, and then, of course, any of the maintenance you need. If you have a furnace problem during these cold snaps, you got to have, if you need emergency work, Douglas will do that for you, but you got to have that website and that phone number ready to go. It's calldouglas.com. Same thing applies for plumbing, pipe breaks, that kind of emergencies. Those emergencies, they do home services as well. Calldouglas.com, license number 2017181. Calldouglas.com. Y'all reach out to Jay and the team. Let them help you with any of that stuff. Water heater goes kaput during the wintertime. Any of these things. It's calldouglas.com. Okay, let me start with two other stories. We'll go back to this identity thing because still got some great calls about it. We'll start with there's been a pipeline explosion in Minnesota, and I don't know exactly where the Willow River is, but they've got a massive fire. The explosion was heard for miles around, so there's a massive emergency response going on right now with all this other craziness going on in Minneapolis. You got this situation that's popped up, so we'll keep an eye on that this afternoon. The other thing is we've got our own hazmat type spill or something on 65. That was part of our traffic report, but that's a big deal this time of the day, and so they've got some of the lanes blocked near our radio station. We're right off exit 256 in the Homewood area, and let me pull that up, and I'll look at that traffic map real quick and see how that looks in both directions. They're going to have to just lock the road down until they get this stuff cleaned up. And, yeah, it looks like it's backed up quite a bit. Also in the northbound lane. Yeah, it's strictly the northbound lane. I don't see the southbound lane is closed. And the area right now that I see they've got blocked is from downtown around 2nd all the way back to around that 8th Street exit, if y'all know where I'm talking about, just before you get to the Green Springs exit, and it backs way up. So if you're heading northbound on 65, you need to find some other way to get around that. The whole lane's blocked. They're probably diverting people over to the surface streets. That'd be logical, but just try to figure that out. It's going to be a mess this afternoon. Hazmat situation over between Homewood and Birmingham in that area. All right, back to, we started the show, and it's probably eaten up most of the show tonight with this concept that Homeland Security was going to require or saying there was a report that came out that Homeland Security was preparing to make an announcement. They were going to start requiring American citizens to carry passports or have to be able to prove your citizenship with spot checks or whatnot. We didn't have any real details, but it set off alarm bells. I'm sitting here rationalizing how and when they could implement that and what would justify it, assuming that perhaps this was going to be a real thing that was coming. We had a good conversation. We've got some of the smartest listeners in the world, really good, passionate arguments on both sides of whether, as an American citizen, we're giving up freedom to comply with our government, cracking down on people that shouldn't be here. It's a complex world that we live in. But Homeland Security just put out a statement, because I bet this caught fire on the internet like it's caught fire on our show today with people debating it and maybe pushing back on it. Here's what Homeland Security says about it. They said false, meaning they don't have plans to do this. It says a person's immigration status makes them a target for enforcement, not their skin color, nor their race or ethnicity. Law enforcement uses reasonable suspicion, which is a standard if you've studied these things that goes way back in policing in general. They use reasonable suspicion to make arrests, as they are protected under the Fourth Amendment of the U.S. Constitution. The Supreme Court has already ruled that such actions are in line with the Constitution. So they're challenging the notion that they even need to do this because they have the reasonable suspicion standard allows them to make interdictions in those cases. I love the debate. This thing came from somewhere, and we're still getting plenty of calls about it tonight, too. Updates on these headlines or anything else that pops up while we keep going at it. Also, by the way, join us on YouTube and some of the social media channels. We're live with cameras in the studio. I've got my personal studio all built out and doing the show from here every day now, and we'd love you to interact with that. And, of course, phone calls, 545-9950 on the traditional radio phone line. We're happy to take care of that for you, too. As we head toward a weekend, I'm getting excited about it. Let's go to the phones, and we'll start with Dan on line 3 in Birmingham. We got Jeff and Henry. Did we miss Elias? I got to get to Elias, too. Dan, what's up, buddy?
Hey, not much. I can't believe Henry's following me. I don't know what to say, honestly.
Henry's the man.
Yeah. So what I think's going on is the only way they can pursue this is criminally, right? I think there's a statistic that they have lined up is like, probably all the interactions they have with police, probably like 20% of them, maybe that's a gross judgment, but like 20% of them involve illegal aliens, right? So they have to only pursue it criminally, but in all these cases that they feel like they can reduce the population in these cases, 20%, 16%, that is like, hey, yeah, we can prosecute this. And this is, Leland, you're a little older than me. You remember the Patriot Act, and you were like deep in this stuff when the Patriot Act come up. And I feel like we'll see in 10 or 15 years is like this is one of those things that reduce the population of America, I feel like, by illegal immigrants.
Well, let me jump off the Patriot Act example. So for all of the arguments for or against tonight, that brings up something that was a life lesson for me. And I think you're right. The cynical callers about this issue tonight are right in that I in my lifetime, just on a personal note, I feel abused by the government over the Patriot Act because around after 9/11, you couldn't find anybody that was opposed to it except for a few civil libertarians that were naturally cynical, like some of our callers tonight, over what this government was going to do. And they promised us we're going to combine our agencies and have better tools to know ahead of time next time before a big terror hit happens. Now, look, we haven't had another 9/11 either. But then they used the tools of the Patriot Act against us. You had subsequent administrations. They were using Patriot Act surveillance tools against Trump and his supporters for the last 10 years until they got caught. That was one of the elements of the Patriot Act. Homeland Security itself was turned into an agency at that same time, the very agency we're talking about tonight, because they said it all should be under one umbrella so they could work together. And then it became so large and dysfunctional. You had Mayorkas in there, and he was allowed to, because of the power he has under that one big agency, to just ignore these millions of people coming across, willfully allow it with the power that the government had with those positions. So, yeah, there are history lessons in modern times to learn from giving the government any more authority to do anything.
Yeah, Leland, I would say I'm opposed to it. Like my core belief, and I may be going against it, it's just like cheating on your taxes. If you're not really cheating, you have nothing to lose. Like I have nothing to lose being American. I was born here. My family's been born here for 400 years nearly, and my wife's family too. And, I have nothing to lose from it. But I think I think there's a lot of benefits, but it is just one stepping stone when it comes to, I think, some overreach. So I'm kind of opposed to it.
I hear you. Okay, man. Well, the good news is Homeland Security has given some clarification to this notion. And it basically sounds like, if I'm splitting hairs here and trying to figure out why they put this statement out and what they're arguing against, is they're not going to do it in terms of random checks, which is what we were all concerned about in the beginning. Because their statement points to when they have the ability to pull people over or interdict, it's based on a reasonable suspicion standard, not a random show me your paper standard. The other things that we've talked about for a couple of hours now about applying for benefits, I do think a stricter standard for checking citizenship. Thanks, man. Thanks, Dan. Let's go to, I think Elias has been holding for a long time. If he's still there, AJ, and we'll pull Elias into this thing. But yeah, in those areas which are less confrontational and less suspicious, you're in there trying to get money out of the government. I damn sure want them to ask for proof of citizenship and make that the new standard. But I think the gray area all night long while we talked about this is always, the randomness of it, that door to door or random pullovers or checkpoints. I don't think any American really is for that level of enforcement of showing your citizenship. Elias, your turn, buddy. Go ahead.
Oh, hey, thanks for taking my call. We got kind of a weak connection, so can you hear me okay?
Yeah, you sound loud and clear.
Yeah, I could barely hear you. But anyway, thanks for taking my call. Two quick questions. Did you have a really good time when you went to Italy and Greece and all that? Was it what you thought it would be?
Yeah, I really want to go back. We were sitting there talking about it this year. We're even talking about going and doing the Holy Land or something like that this year if we can pull it off with our schedule. But I've fallen in love with some places over there. Yeah.
Yeah, my second question is, because I'm getting ready to go back to Normandy for the third time.
Sure.
Your wife, how did she do with her? I know she was studying, was it Italian or Greek?
She was studying Italian. Because we've been there 3 times, probably I'll go back several more times. But she was pretty fastidious about it.
Good, yeah, because I tried another language course before, one of the more popular ones, and I just couldn't get the hang of it. So I want to get another language course in French, but I want to know if it's a good course. Can you tell me what course you took?
Well, she also was frustrated with that course, and I forget which one. It was one of those apps, like phone apps, where you just practice. It was one of the two. It was either Babbel or the other one, Duolingo. It wasn't bad. I was doing it too with her, and I've retained what I did learn, but I didn't learn enough because I would think I could read.
Yeah.
I could read really well. Yeah. Was always the case. I could read the signs. I kind of understood, but they started hitting me with the jive, and I couldn't spit it back at them. I just couldn't recall the words enough to speak it very well.
Yeah, it was. We're going with a group of 10, and we're going to have 2 French speakers with us anyway, but I was just curious. Okay, real quick, I want to correct a couple of your callers, the guys that were calling and screaming about the DD-214. I'm American. How could you? Let me say this. You do not have to be an American citizen to get a DD-214. And here's how I know that. First of all, I have 7 DD-214s. 7, okay? When I got activated and got sent to Iraq, I was what's called a cross-leveler, meaning they pulled people from the continental United States, the mainland United States, and sent us to a unit that was really short of people out in the Pacific. It was based out of Hawaii, but it had people from Samoa, Saipan, and Guam. And so the Saipanese, the Guamanians, the Samoans, they weren't necessarily citizens. And I didn't know that, but we were there training at Camp McGregor in Texas. And about a week or 2 before we left Texas, a couple buses pulled up, and like 400 of the guys from the unit started piling in these buses. And I'm saying, what's going on there? Where are they going? And they told me they're going to get their citizenship. I said, what do you mean? They're in uniform. They're in the military. They're in the Army. We're going to war. They said, no, you could be in the American military, get a DD-214, and not be an American citizen. And as a reward, these guys are all going to the federal courthouse in El Paso, Texas, and becoming citizens today. So you don't have to be, I know it doesn't sound right, but you don't have to be a citizen to get a DD-214. You would think so, but that's not the case.
Yeah, and I appreciate you bringing that up. And as that call was done, I remembered some military stuff I was covering back in the day down at Benning, and we had a bunch of foreigners in one of the units. And what we do is we offer citizenship in exchange for service. So once you've come in and been trained and do a couple of years of service, there's a quicker path to citizenship. And I guess you've proven yourself by then. If you're willing to fight and die for this country, you've stepped up in a way where citizenship is a reward. And I think that's the way it's used, and it adds sometimes some very good quality people to the military for sure.
Yeah, no, I'm okay with it. I mean, I am. I got 7 DD-214s. I don't mind. I got a passport, and I don't mind complying because our country's in bad shape.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, I don't know if you remember this, Leland, but in 2009, when Barack Obama assumed office, the very first thing he did in an official capacity was take over the census. It has never been done in our country's history before, but the Democrats, wanted to control the census. And they made sure that the question about citizenship was not allowed. I remember when the guy came to my house in California and did the census. He wanted to know my ethnicity, just sexual preference, but not whether or not I was a citizen. Just how many people are here, what's their skin color. So they play the long game. Barack Obama, the Democrats have been playing the long game for about 30 or 40 years. Long before Obama came along, he just accelerated the whole process. And we need to have citizens in this country. In California, I think I mentioned this to you once before, but I almost got in a fist fight when I went to go vote because the people there refused to look at my ID. I walked up to get my ballot, and they said, "Name, please." I said, "It's right here." And she looked the other way.
Oh, yeah.
And I said, "It's right here. It's right here."
That too. I want them to vet me. I want to show them I belong in here because it helped. Anyway, I get the arguments on all the sides. Good call, Elias. I got to get to this break. I'm glad Homeland Security is not planning to push this out there as a roving spot check. But in terms of the other stuff we've talked about tonight, something's got to be done about the census. Something's got to be done about voter ID in this country. The system has been abused from the other side, and the only way to stop that is to put enforcement tools in there that protect my citizenship and your citizenship from people that should not be getting these privileges or the money for that matter. Alabama Bass bringing you the show tonight, alabamabass.com. Look, whatever kind of bath project you have in mind, whether you want to blow the whole bathroom out and recreate it, people need to do that from time to time to spruce up their houses. If you're growing old, losing some mobility, going through some stuff in life where you just can't, it's hard to get in and out of that bathtub, let them replace that thing with a stand-up shower system that's so easy to get into, slip-proof surfaces, ergonomic, so you can steady yourself in there and get clean and refreshed and get your thoughts and not have to have help to do that. There is another category that I haven't talked about much over the years, but it's just replacing a tub with a tub. Sometimes your tub's just gotten janky. That's an engineering term. Janky's janky. We know what janky is. Get rid of that janky thing and let Alabama Bass come and take that old thing out, put you a new one in. It's a 2-day project, and you'll love it. For your guests, for yourself, for whatever in your home, stay on top of this stuff and work with Mike and Dewey and Sandra and Jill and that whole team over there. It's alabamabass.com. Based in Pelham, but they'll come to you, alabamabass.com. All right, y'all. Michelson Laser Vision bringing you the show tonight. Dr. Mark and everybody on the team. Everybody at Michelson Laser Vision is ready to see and help you see better. His daughter, Jennifer, for years wanted to be like her dad. She wanted to work with her father and grew up and became a surgeon too. So you got two generations, yet another one of our great local sponsors where it's a family thing. And that's where you get a lot of pride and hard work and good service. And I love all that. Now let's talk about the technology. LASIK is a miracle. It's a life-changing technology, and it just improved since, of course, I had the procedure years ago at Dr. Michelson's, and now they've got this new contour system, and it can do things that were unheard of just a few years ago. Michelson Laser Vision, they're downtown UAB Highlands. That's not one of the big UAB hospitals. That's kind of off the main campus, so it's real easy to access, get in and out up there on the 5th floor. They're good with your time, very efficient with what they do for you. And it's amazing to see 2015 and to be able to see so clearly without glasses or contacts. MichelsonLaserVision.com. Dr. Mark, Dr. Jennifer, the whole team. What a great team around them, too. Just the best folks. Michelson Laser Vision, downtown UAB Highlands. All right, I want to be fair to the callers, and we pushed the last segment for a long time. So we're going to go ahead and take the bottom of the hour break. Come back, we'll get to y'all. I see Jeff and Ann and Henry on the lines. One line open if y'all want to get in on any of this stuff. Crazy night for a Friday. Back here in a minute. Leland Live, Talk 99.5. Y'all stay tuned. All right, let's go. Let's do it. Leland Live, Talk 95. AJ, did you tell me, is Thomas there? Is he with us
Yep,
tonight?
Thomas is on.
Thomas is on the hotline. Thomas, what's shaking in the world of mortgages here on this Friday night?
Man, we've had a great week with a disaster 2 days with the whole cell phone outage and Verizon, all the cell phone companies. But man, we had a great day today. Man, I want to tell you about a couple that we just closed yesterday afternoon on a new home. We did a construction loan for them. And, they came to us. They were new college graduates last year. We've been working with them for a year now. And they have a fantastic story. When they came to us last year, new out of college, like I said, they had no credit score. And, so we gave them a path of what they needed to do to get their credit score, to get a credit score. And, they followed our directions on what they needed to do, followed the steps. They got great jobs, have great careers going, got their credit together, saved the money. We all throughout the year, we checked in on them. We had counseling sessions throughout the year. They got everything. They hit every mark that we told them to do. They continued to save for their down payment. They got their credit where it needed to be, and we just closed on a new construction loan so they can build their new home because that was their dream. So we have their 27 years old, 27 and 26 years old college graduates. We just closed on a new construction loan for them to build a brand new home. So could not be prouder of that couple that they did sit down. It did take them right at a year where we walked through the steps with them on what they needed to do, and they followed our counseling and was able to get them closed up. It's a testament to them. And man, could not be more excited than I could for them. I mean, it is great to see that they were able to save the money they needed and get their credit in line. So, if anyone out there is looking to purchase or build, hey, give us a call 205-859-8859 or savewithstockton.com.
SaveWithStockton.com. We appreciate you, Thomas. Thomas with a good word tonight. Checking in with us with another success story. Those are always so nice to hear. Making dreams come true. That must be fun to call people and tell them your loan is approved. Must be nice. Hey, y'all, let's do some more calls. Let's start with who's next, AJ? Is it Jeff? No. Did Henry drop off? Did Henry get tired of us? Is he gone? Did he give up?
That's not the same Henry we think it is. It was another Henry, but yes, he did drop off.
Old school Henry will hang, man. He's in there. Who's next? Jeff, is the board correct? Okay, Jeff's on line 2. We'll go there first. What's up, Jeff?
Hey, guys. I was heading southbound on 65 right when that hazmat thing started, and I saw white powder everywhere. I thought to myself, man, it looks like somebody dumped a load of Quikrete or Quicklime or something that brought up a real big cloud of dust, and people were rubber banding and stopping. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, who knows what it was. My theory is we need to call Hegseth and see if they hit a Venezuelan speedboat down there, because that's what it looked like.
Well, I'm glad I didn't know if this was oil or if we'd had a diesel fuel leak. All that's considered.
No, it was a white powder, and it created just a cloud that, something like a thick fog.
Oh, wow.
And, you're heading south, you're just like, what the heck? And then you're gone. Oh, well. Sure. So then I hear 2 hours later that, whatever. So there you go. And can I add one more thing?
Absolutely.
I work in cybersecurity, and I just want all your listeners to know that there are a lot of scams coming out on text and email claiming to have like a $20 or $80 refund from Verizon. There is a legitimate Verizon credit to your account, but you are not going to get some weird URL or link in a text. Be very careful, folks. That's all I got to say.
That's good advice, because I did get a text. I haven't had time to look at it or vet it, and we get all kind of training here to look out for that stuff. But that's pretty crafty because people know what we all went through a couple of days ago, and Verizon announced the credit. You think they'd just put it on your bill and not force you to have to do anything. So,
well, that's how they save money, is by forcing you to go do something.
well, that's true.
All right.
So I'm going to check on that. Thanks for the tip.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, guys. Have a great night and a great weekend.
All right. Well, there's a nice phone call. He didn't even want to get into it with us, AJ, or with me, really. He just wanted to give us some warnings. Yeah. So a white powdery substance on the interstate. I got to go back to that real quick. And it's got everything shut down in the northbound lane for till 9 o'clock tonight. So, that's pretty serious. I see no reporting. I'm going to look at some of our local newscasters and maybe some of the TV stations, see if they're down there checking on it. Yeah, I'll scroll around during the next call and see if we can figure out what that is. What's on the road? What are they dealing with? I think if it was super dangerous, they'd have both lanes blocked, most likely. Let's go to Ann in Columbiana. What's up, Ann?
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, doing well.
Hey. So the white powder, if it's not a really nice load from Venezuela, it's probably the white stuff that they get from Carmouche, from the what's it called down here in Alabaster?
From the limestone plant.
Lime, yeah. So the more than likely that's probably what it is, I would think. But anyway, reason I was calling is so my thing about the whole passport thing, I would not want to have to get a passport because we already have a government-issued document with our driver's license. Why not just add another letter to the back of the darn thing and say, yes, you're a U.S. citizen, or if you have a work visa or student visa, instead of making people go out and, in the future, if this is actually something that's being looked at, instead of having to go out and pay to have another document that you have to carry around with you, just add it to the driver's license. It should already be on there anyway. You have all the documentation with the star ID.
Yeah, I think that's a good suggestion, and I brought that up a couple hours ago. I said, we're in the legislative session now. Well, I mean, just to agree with you, it's similar to what I was talking about. I think the legislature could easily allow the Alabama driver's license folks to put a citizenship endorsement on that identification, somehow that's vetted in a way. Maybe Star ID is all we need, but so that if down the road we get those questions in legitimate circumstances, not unconstitutional stuff, then it makes it easy on everybody. It's a no-brainer, and I have no problem whipping that thing out. I'm proud to be an American citizen, and I want them to ask these other folks, what the hell are they doing here? I want them to ask.
Absolutely. Hey, a shout-out to TT. Tubby, get that on the next docket, buddy.
There it is. Yeah.
Have a good one. See ya.
Good call, Ann. Look, we got folks in the legislature that listen. Somebody pick that ball up and run with it. Let's coordinate in a way that's not expensive or cumbersome, and let's legitimize. Look, the left has abused the driver's license system by issuing licenses to non-citizens all over the country. The CDLs, they made the roads more dangerous. They're using that to legitimize them. Because once you've got an ID, sometimes you're eligible to vote. They've got auto programs where I think if you sign up for some benefits, if you wind up in a certain program, you immediately get on the voter rolls, the automatic registration. They've used every trick in the book to incorporate the illegals in this country. Why don't we use every trick in the book to protect the American citizens in this country? So, because a couple of our callers today, when we were all up in arms trying to go, what do we do if this is a requirement, had good points about how do I prove I'm a citizen? That's not something we're used to in our country. And every now and then you got to pop up a birth certificate, and some of us have already gone to the trouble to get a passport or the star ID, and so I've already done it. Maybe that makes it easier for me. But some folks have got to start from scratch on that and get on record somewhere proving their citizenship, and that's a shame. But I think that's just where we are. And if we had a vehicle to do that was simple and straightforward, that wasn't vulnerable to all this fraud, then I think things could get streamlined if we ever really had to get to a point where we got to do this kind of stuff. Fascinating conversation, though. Homeland Security's trying to put clarity on it, saying, no, we're not going to start stopping people. We don't have to. We're covered by the reasonable suspicion laws and precedent. So there's that. Let's keep going with the phone calls. We got two Georges. I bet they both start talking at the same time. But I'm going to go to the one on line one, AJ. George, what's up, buddy? And
Is that me?
Yeah, I think that's you, George. Go, man.
All right. So I'm sorry if I ramble a little bit. I've had a traumatic brain injury, so I have problems gathering my thoughts.
You do what you got to do.
One thing I've tracked Trump throughout both of his presidencies. The first time around, he dropped the Moab bomb on I forget who he dropped that bomb on, but and then in this term in Venezuela, he's dropped some more technology that no one's ever heard of. The way it was described, no one's ever heard of it. So I think that he is kind of flexing the American muscle in an attempt to show the world you really don't want to mess with us.
Yep.
And then at the same time, he is also with the Greenland situation. I think that, in my opinion, his strategy on getting that land, getting that property, is because he sees Europe falling. All of the European countries are having all these massive invasions with, the Islamic populations, and they're eroding all of their standard operating procedures throughout history and all of that. And he sees our air bases in those areas as at risk because of that. So taking Greenland would ensure that even if Europe were to fall, America still has a quick reaction force somewhere centrally located that can reach Europe and all of these Middle Eastern countries in a timely manner. Because if Europe were to fall, we would lose those bases in Germany and France and England, and that would greatly inhibit us as a country from being able to protect ourselves.
George, I mean,
I just wanted to get your opinion.
I think that's very insightful. The Europeans are falling. That continent, with the exception of Hungary and maybe Austria and Poland and some others that are resisting globalism, I think it's too late for the United Kingdom. I mean, their current prime minister just came out and kissed Chinese ass worse than Gavin Newsom the last 2 or 3 days. They're very vulnerable to fall to Islam or other foreign influences. They did it to themselves. Germany's a lost cause. Wonderful people, wonderful country, amazing heritage that connects to some of us. But I think it's a lost cause unless they can wrestle that back from the invasion they've undergone. Trump is going to look out for this hemisphere strategically, geographically, and otherwise, and it makes this Dawn Road doctrine make more sense when you realize that down the road we can't count on the Europeans anymore. It's just our side of the world versus the other side of the world at some point. So, yeah, I think that's very insightful.
Yeah, and I think Trump sees Greenland as like the eastern edge of our hemisphere, right? And so if we have Greenland and then we also help the South America rejuvenate, and like I said, he's also flexing the muscle with dropping the Moab bomb and then these other tactics that he deployed in Venezuela and some other places. I feel like he's showing them, he's daring them to mess with us at that point, right?
There you go. Good stuff.
He's letting them know that we're capable, we're ready to rock and roll. I dare you.
Man, let's see how it plays out. This is going to be an exciting year. Good call, George. Let me see. AJ, who would you go to now? I got 2 Henrys on the board. You're looking at the clock. Who do we have next? Is it Henry? Line 3? We'll try that. Henry, what's up, buddy?
Real Henry. It's the real me.
The OG Henry. I like this. All right, Henry, what's up, man?
Hey, Leland, I'll tell you what. If I hadn't seen what I did on the weekend from Cheryl Atkinson on Full Measure, I would have been, no way I'm going to give you my papers. But now I see that we don't have a choice. We voted ourselves in this position with voting milk milquetoast Republicans who never stood up for citizenship. She did a piece, Leland, on fraud in the system. She brought up the Great Society, or the with LBJ, and at first it started out it was $1 billion programs, and all of the socialist programs that we have today. It started out it was $1 billion. Today it's $1 trillion, Leland. Now she brought up something, and she said of that $1 trillion, $521 billion is stolen every year. So either if we go broke, we're not going to, citizenship ain't going to matter. There's people in grass huts in Kenya who are getting a check from our Social Security, and they've never even appeared on the soil of the America. We're going to have to do something, or else we're going to lose it to bankruptcy. So we don't have a choice. We have to prove our citizenship and make it valuable, because right now it ain't worth a flip. It ain't worth it. It ain't worth it.
Good stuff, Henry. Yeah, I think we have to restore the integrity, and by that I mean I want to sign up. I want people to know it. I don't mind carrying something that proves it, because our country's been overrun from people that don't deserve the things they're getting because nobody's asking them. And so that's a complete flip. It's a flip for me. On this question, thanks, Henry. On this question tonight, and I got to get to this break, man. I wish we had another hour tonight. It's been that kind of show. It's one of those things where this seems like an affront to our freedom and citizenship on the notion of it. But then when you think about the mechanics and the practical nature of where we are right now, it may be the best defensive thing we could do to protect those very freedoms and the offerings of a citizenship, to give it value and to sort of build a wall around the citizenship. It's being watered down and erased by the world coming here taking advantage of things that should belong to Americans. And somewhere you gotta stop that and reverse it. And maybe that's part of what this discussion has been about. I know that the pushback on it must have been strong enough for Homeland Security to have to react to that, though. And that's good. The clarity's good. Lonnie's Furniture Company bringing you the show tonight. John and the whole team, LAU, NIUS. Y'all go look at some furniture this weekend. There's nothing going on. It may even, some parts of the state may even get a little bit of snow this weekend. Probably not us, but as you're out and about, whatever you got to do this weekend, it's going to be cold. Get in that warm, toasty acre of furniture and look around. You may see something that inspires you to make a change. John and his team and Reggie and all of those guys, the name itself has been around, I think, going on 92 years. Coming up at some month. I need to check with Reggie on when that anniversary is. We ought to go do a show there. We talked about doing that again this year. Y'all, these folks are helpful. They got the best stuff in the world that's built here in America. Selection, great prices all year long. Once in a while, we'll throw a special in when they get a huge shipment of Lazy Boys or something. The ability to custom order and design your own furniture, shipping right to your house. They'll bring it to you themselves. It's just everything you need in a furniture store. Don't buy the cheap stuff. Don't go to the snotty stores and overpay. Get quality at a great price at Lonnie's Furniture Company in Kimberly, Alabama, right off exit 280, Lonnie'sFurnitureCompany.com. right. Usually I like to listen to this one, but we got to get out of here. We just got a couple of minutes left. Monster Liner bringing you the show tonight. MONSTALINER, Monster Liner. Y'all reach out to them if you got to paint anything outside. You can absolutely do it yourself. It's something I wouldn't have considered. I always thought things like, cars and old hunting trucks and maybe boat trailers or utility trailers, any application that's metal, it's exposed, it's getting rusty or oxidized. You can roll this product on and it looks tremendous. There's a lot of videos online of people that have done projects, maybe one like yours, with tips and tricks. And this is a product made right here in Alabama in Coleman County. MONSTALINER, MonsterLiner.com. All right, I'm going to have to do a lightning round. We'll get, we'll try to get Steve and Glenn and Daryl in here, and then we're going to have to get out of here. We'll start with Steve, line 2. Steve, what's up, buddy?
Hey, man, I agree with what a lot of your callers were saying. Like, we got to get the voting, straightened out. But we also, under Trump, need to get the 14th Amendment straightened out. And what you were just telling George, that you thought Europe was already done, you're right. It's simple mathematics now. All these countries are going to get outbred. France, Germany, England, another generation, or 2 more generations, I'm not sure. But anyway, have a good weekend. It's always a good listen to your show.
Thank you, Steve. That's how you do it. Do it quickly. Glenn, see how fast you can go. Go, buddy.
All right. Be quick. They can already get credentials. The illegals, they can vote. They can get driver's license, CDLs. This is just another piece of paper that they can forge or however they do it in blue states. And it would cripple our ICE and Homeland Security if they show them that bogus piece of paper, another piece of paper. It would cripple their ability to stop them once they showed it. So I don't think they need to do it,
buddy. Just got to run. Daryl, hang on. I'm going to try to get to you. But first, Birmingham Broker, downtown Birmingham. If you got any kind of car trade to do this year, do it with these guys. Craig and Keith will sell that ride. It's done. They do the work. You get the check. I love it. I'll never trade a different way again. I get more money. I don't have to do anything. Then I can be off to the next one, wherever that is. They'll help track one down if you need it, but primarily they're sellers, brokers. On the seller side, it's bhambroker.com, bhambroker.com. Man, I'm going to have to leave Daryl hanging. Daryl, call us back next week. We'll put you on. Leland Live, y'all join the YouTube channel, subscribe to it, watch us there, or just listen to us every day the old school way. We'll see you again on Monday. Stay tuned for Breaking Bread.
Goodbye, AJ.